All right, everybody, we're back. Rochelle again, Caylie again. And last we heard, so if you haven't heard Caylie's first half of her testimony yet, go back to the last Testimony Tuesday and it'll be posted there. I highly recommend. It's so powerful. And how God works and how he speaks. And it's so cool. I'm loving this, honestly. But anyway, and then where we left off was she, lucky girl, got stuck in someone's basement. No, I shouldn't say it like that.
I was lucky. I was very blessed to be where I was. Yeah, but yes, it wasn't where I had wanted for myself to be necessarily, and so it was an emotional experience. So yeah, so we just downsized. I heard God tell us we need to downsize and move into somebody's basement, and I was like, what the heck? But I listened. God opened the doors. We ended up getting into this, we're move-in night into this basement apartment that's not quite finished and totally led by God, but here we are. So I'm in the basement, I'm crying.
You wouldn't have done it on your own terms, right? On your own thought, on your own.
Even while I was there, I'm bawling because I'm like, why am I doing this? But I'm being obedient and I'm seeing what happens, because why not play with life a little bit for once, right? Instead of take things so seriously. And so I got into this situation. My cat bit me because our mover scared her. I moved into the basement of an ER nurse.
Oh, wow.
Called her because she went to work while I was moving in there. Didn't know her that well yet. I had met her like once beforehand. And I was like, hey, this is happening to my arm. Do you think maybe? And she's like, yeah, you should come in. So my arm was getting infected. I had the infection moving into my bloodstream through my body, and my body started shutting down. My grandpa took me, actually, and he was worried for me because I wasn't responsive by the time we were in that. It was crazy. And so all these things, hardest move of my life, and it was only 20 miles, and I've moved across the country a bunch of times, and I was like, this is crazy. The enemy really came up against me when I was trying to obey. Yep. And I feel like that's exactly what it was.
Oh, yes.
And
he'll do that.
Yeah. And we move in. Things get settled-ish. That was on a Saturday. The next Tuesday, my entire team got called in to HR room, and we learned that our whole team was going to be let go. That day, 40% of our entire company got let go, and they had to get their stuff and leave that day.
Oh my goodness.
Our team was the only team that was given a notice. They said, you can stay until the end of the year, and we will give you a severance package. And I did the math, and at that point, if I didn't move right when I did, I wouldn't have been able to afford to break the new lease.
Wow.
We would have been in debt. And so literally,
I think I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, I am. So literally just obeying
God, because you didn't know the future, but he did.
I had no idea.
Wow, that is so powerful.
Yep. And through that as well, I was like, that was a huge trust fall and a building relationship for God and myself. And so I said, okay, well, whatever you want, let's do this, And so I kept coming to him, and I was like, all right, where do you want me now? What do you want me to do now? How should I approach this? How do you want me to talk to people? What do you want me? And with that was also, of course, what about money? How am I going to afford to live?
Yes.
And the place we moved into was half the amount of rent is what I was paying before. So it really helped sustain us, right?
Yes.
And that relationship was really beautiful as well. And that's a testimony I'd like to share some other time. I think it was really good. God definitely put us in a spot where we both kind of tested one another, but we're a safe place to test one another, our landlords and us. And I think that I think that our personalities played out differently together than they usually do, but it was on purpose.
Okay.
God used that whole every part of the situation in order to grow everybody, I think, which was really neat.
It's very purposeful.
It was very purposeful. It was very neat. But anyways, so God kept telling me and showing me in scripture that I needed to not look for a job. that I needed to rest. That I need to take this time to just rest in a basement with Olive, and that he would take care of everything, and that he wanted me to start my podcast, which he had put on my heart 2 years prior to that.
Okay.
And he was like, it's time. You need to work on that. Do that. Don't look for work. Do what I told you to do. Same. Go back to what did I tell you to do last that you didn't finish, you know? Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I will do that then. Mm-hmm. What am I supposed to do it on? I don't know. I'm just going to start. Like, and that's kind of what I did. And it's evolved a lot since every episode it evolved, I feel like, and it's still evolving. But
and what is the name of your podcast?
My podcast is the Responsible Parent Podcast.
There you go.
And in my podcast, we help overstimulated parents regulate their nervous system naturally. And one of the best tools is Yahweh.
Yeah.
Right? And so that is something we'll be leaning more heavily into this season, which I'm really excited about. But
we'll put it in the information section of the...
Yeah.
If people are curious and they want to check it out, for sure.
That'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've worked since I was 10 years old for money, for living.
Yes.
My mom was a single parent as well. I went outside of the house to bring in money so that I had it to do something with. And, you know, and I worked several jobs through college, several jobs through my adult life. Like, I've worked my butt off. What I know how to be is a workhorse.
You're good at working.
I'm very good at working. And when God's like, you need to rest, I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I need to apply to all these jobs. Like, what? And so I got really far. I did still apply to some jobs. I got really far in an interview with a place in Switzerland.
Wow.
That I was so excited about. And they told me they wanted to hire me, but they wouldn't, because they wouldn't feel right about the amount of money I was making, knowing that I'd have to send Olive to a special school because she wasn't Swedish German speaking.
Okay.
So it'd be $20,000 a year just for her school.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, we feel like you need to be making like over 180 in order to, and so like that was the conversation.
Oh my
so
goodness.
Again, like a very God-led, like, what company does that? Like, they'd be like, oh, yeah, we like you. You're the best person in the job. Hire you in.
You can figure out the rest on your own. Yeah.
And Olive and I were so excited. We were getting so jazzed about the concept of living in Switzerland. We were looking up the playgrounds there and the schools. And, and God was like, lovingly, no, you need to rest.
Yep.
Stay in this basement and rest. And I was like, so I did, and there was some guilt that I was working through as I'm doing that, because the people who are living upstairs only know us from this situation. So what they know is that we sleep in a basement 70% of our time.
Yeah, we're probably like, whatever.
Yeah, I like don't put on makeup when I go outside or do my hair. We just like hang out and lay in the grass. Or like go down to the park or to the library, and I'm like, that's what they know of me. Mm-hmm. And they probably think I'm like the laziest slob ever, and like it's the complete opposite of who I am, you know?
Oh, I can see where that would be like toying with me, because I'd be like, I don't want these people to think poorly of me. Yes. Yep.
But I was like, that's what God's telling me to do. And so there was a battle. It wasn't complete obedience, but it was more obedience than battle. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And it was easier to do than I would expected it to be. And so I just continued on that path, and then about March-ish time frame, I felt this stirring inside me where I felt God saying, all right, the reason I've done this is because you are going to need more energy than you've ever needed in your life. And you needed to really rest up for it. And I'm providing that to you, but thank you for obeying. Now this is your gift.
Yeah.
And I felt that I was like, end of spring, something big's coming. I don't know what it is. I was like, I'm moving to Switzerland. You know, like, I don't know. That'll take a lot of energy to figure out. And so I was like, okay, all right. And then I felt like it was time to start applying to a few jobs. I applied to like 3, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I didn't put a lot of effort into them. Usually I spend all day, you know,
making sure everything's perfect.
Yep.
And yep.
Catering my resume specifically to the position, making sure I have my profile picture matching their brand ethos, and you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like freaking everything, right? Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm just going to apply to these 3 because I feel like that's kind of what I should do. So I did. Didn't stress about it. Continued. I also really got to lean into just family time during that time.
I was thinking how much Olive would have cherished that time.
It was such a cherished time. And we actually just talked about that the other day. Which
and
is
Olive's
really
her
cute.
daughter. I know we said that in the last video, but just making sure.
Yeah. And she's 11 now. So she was 10 during that time. And she was just talking to me about that this past week. She was like, it was so nice. We really got to like bond and like build our relationship, and we got to walk to the library and and she's like, it was just nice just like taking our time, and we got to watch the 2 Sync kids every Friday, and we got to watch the people upstairs, we got to watch their daughter on Mondays, and like it was just this like really bonding, homey, maternal, lovely time. And I've spent so much of my life in my masculine energy that it was really nice to just fall into that feminine and just embrace it.
Yeah.
And be like, God's got me. I can be a mom.
Yeah.
I can just be mom, you know?
Yeah.
And like, that's okay. And I don't have a husband that's supporting me to be mom. I have Yahweh supporting me to be. And like, that's really cool, you know?
That is really cool.
So that happened. I think something to mention, during this time, I was running out of money.
Oh, I'm sure. I was thinking that right now, actually. I'm like, oh, I wonder how you...
Yeah. And so I was running out of, and I ran out of money 3 separate times. The first time, my rent was due like 2 days later. And I was like, I don't have enough in my bank account for rent. Mm-hmm. And I had so much pride. I was like, I do not want to ask my family at 30 plus years old for rent money because I got laid off, you know, like I was like, what am I going to do? And so I just went to the altar and I said, you led me here. I'm here because of you. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of this. You've got me. Yeah. You've got me. Ugh. And I kid you not, 2 days before my rent was due, I'm at church. And a family comes up to me that we're friends. We're going to their church because we're friends. Yeah. And the husband hands me an envelope and he said, God told me to give you this.
Oh my gosh, I could cry.
I'm going to cry. And it was the exact amount of my rent.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
This is not coincidental. It's just not.
And I literally started crying. And
this is how our God works. He's so cool.
Yeah, he's so cool. And he used him as a tool, right?
Yes.
And their family as a tool. And then there was this, number one, rejoice, relief. There was a wow factor in God, right?
The trust just builds
again. The
trust
continued to build. But then there was also this sneaky anxiety about next month. Because I wasn't going to get another paycheck. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, what's going to happen next month? Yeah. Did the same thing next month. And I was like...
Was it the same family?
Same family.
Wow.
And I was like, are you serious? You know, and he was like, I know this is what's going to happen. And he didn't give me anything the next month. Okay. And I didn't need it. Huh. The following month was time... Things were dwindling down. I applied to 3 jobs. I was like, you got this, God. I don't know. And out of all of the places in the entire world that I applied, the company that laid me off hired me back in. Oh my goodness. And one of the reasons I was very depressed during that time is because my work was a part of my environment that was very toxic. Uh-huh. And I was like, God, you want me back there? Yeah. Like, it made me really depressed. Like, these people were not good. The environment was not good. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. But I was like, okay. It was the only job offer I got. So I took it. Yeah. I was like, what else am I going to do? You know, like, I need this job. Yeah. And I've been in apparel and footwear product development and creation my entire career. Yep. And this job is project management and IT. Completely. I was gonna say, so career change. Yep. Yep. The department I'm in is incredible. I'm with a bunch of IT nerds, and I love them. I love geeky people, you know that. Yes, and like, oh my gosh,
you're kind of a geeky person yourself.
A little bit, yeah. And so
in a different kind of way.
Right, exactly. And so I love it. And my boss is absolutely incredible. He says, Caylie first, Olive first, work second. Make sure you have your work-life balance.
Wow.
You come into the office 1 day a week. Like, you do your life, and we'll be here type of thing. Incredible. More money, better career trajectory. Like, the way that God's like, you obeyed me, and I'm going to give you something you would have never thought of. That's going to be way better than you could have ever possibly have imagined.
I'm just like running this all through my mind, just like, oh, having this time off for the perfect amount of time so that you could apply to this.
Yep.
Like, and get this job.
Yeah. And with that as well, what's been interesting is, so like that department didn't even exist when I was there before.
Huh.
So it couldn't have been something I just moved into. I had to, the timing had to be God's, right?
Yes.
And,
wow.
And with that as well, what's been so interesting is I had been with my ex-boyfriend. We had been trying to buy a house for 4 years, and we had put in applications for at least 3 different homes. All of them got outbid by $50,000 to $100,000 cash offers.
Wow.
Acts of God.
Yeah.
Like, Moline, come on.
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing with that?
Nothing against Moline, but,
Exactly. But, you know,
yeah.
And just with no yard and, you know, with a railway in your backyard. What do you mean? Like that. So anyways, clearly acts of God. And I had gotten the letter of acceptance, basically, to my job. Had not gotten paid yet. $0 freaking dollars in my bank account. Like, no money in my bank account. The most irresponsible thing to do would be to buy a house, right?
Why would you buy a house?
Why would I buy a house? And I'm like, God's telling me to go look at houses today. And my uncle was my realtor, and I was like, I got 3 houses pulled up. They're all the same exact price. 3 different types of houses.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go look at them today? Put them all on. It was a Sunday. We went and we looked at them, and my mom came with me to look at the first one, which is the house I ended up buying. And she was like, this is the one. And I was like, this is the one. And I was like, okay, well, we looked at the other ones anyways, and Olive was like, oh, sick. Like, and she actually really liked, we looked at one in East Grand Rapids, and it was like built in the 20s.
Oh, okay.
And they had a lot of the original character. Very me, you know? Like, I loved it. And it reminded me of some of the apartments I had in Chicago. And like, I was like, ooh, this is good. And the entire top floor Olive could have to herself.
Oh, nice.
And so I was like, she loved that. That was the house she wanted. She fought me on the house that we bought. But our compromise was, if we bought the one we did, that she would get the entire basement living area as her bedroom.
Very tempting, yes,
it's just her and I. So
yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not even going to get a house.
Right.
I have no money. Like, I have no job. Like, what do
no
you
way.
mean? Like, and I was like, I'm going to apply for it. Yeah. I was like, you know what, Greg? And I started an application for the East Grand Rapids house. Mm-hmm. And 20 minutes before the offers for the one I got was due, I said, scratch that, use that information, apply it to this one. This is the house that we're going to get. Like, this is the one that I want to apply for. He was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. He goes, let me call the realtor to even see if it's worth it. Because, like, it's due in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, so he called the realtor. They only had one other offer, and it was at asking price. So I said, literally anything above that, $1,000 above that. And, like, you have the better offer. And he's like, well,
that's good to know. I got it. Yeah.
So I bought a house in 20 minutes.
Huh.
It was like, paperwork, everything. Bought a house in 20 minutes. And I was like, what? I didn't have a job yet. They approved me on my acceptance letter.
Wow.
Like, right. Exactly.
Wow.
And the reason I was able to afford a down payment is because my uncle is amazing and said, when you buy a house, I won't take a commission, and you can use my commission as your down payment.
Wow.
God.
Yeah, yes,
God.
yes,
You know
yes.
what I mean?
Like if...
And so we have literally, within a year, went from a place we loved and thought we belonged into a place that God led us to, that I was like, why the heck did you lead us here? This is crazy. Into deep rest. And the amount of energy, I'm going to cry even just talking about it. The amount of energy that I had for that season was insane. But you think about it, not only were we moving, I'd never bought a house before. That's a lot of mental load to try to, like, understand all the things that are going into it and the anxiety around it and all the things, you know, that happen is a lot. And that takes a lot of energy. With that, also just physical energy, putting everything away. It's just Olive and I. So it's basically just me for a whole house, you know? Yeah. And then the mental energy and the physical energy of going back to work and to a job that I've never experienced before in a department that I don't know. Yeah. With technology that I have no idea. Like they're talking, like every word they say is like a different language to me. And like the mental energy that it took was insane. And I was not tired at all. And I was up early in the morning and up until like way past midnight every single night for like 3 months. We traveled 3 times that summer. Wow. Like interstate. And her dad got married like the week after we moved. We went out there and did that. And then my best friend had a baby. Went out, like all these things. And I was not tired. And there's like not a lick of tiredness with me. And I was like, that is supernatural energy. Like it's not mine, it's supernatural energy. And he told me he would. And he did. He did. And it was just so incredible. And so that's, I think, one of my favorite kind of closes to that season is that I made time to listen.
Ooh, I love that. You made time to listen. Yeah.
Which has been the biggest transformation in my entire life, I think, is making time to listen and to ask. Yeah. And then to actually go, this isn't what I would do, but I'm going to obey anyways. And when I obey anyways, I get to experience fruits like far beyond what I would have ever expected. It's not what I would have chosen for my life. This is way better. My life is incredible. I'm so happy. Like, it's crazy.
God just goes above and beyond. Like he knows so much that we just don't know. We don't know the future, but he does.
Will you ever see that meme of like this little girl and she's like asking God for this flower and he is like holding an entire giant bouquet behind his back? Like, no. What I have in store for you is like way better than that little flower, you know? And that's what I keep going back to when I think of the season of obeying is like you have to believe and trust. And if you can't believe and trust, then read the Bible. Yes. And the Bible is not the Bible. The Bible isn't everything, but the Bible is certainly stories about how you can trust God and how he is supernatural and he will use supernatural circumstances
and he'll speak through those stories. He'll speak through those his words. He'll speak through, but we were talking about this before. The Bible is a lot, but you also need a relationship. There are people that will read the Bible without having the relationship and then it's just a book. Yeah. Okay? You have got to talk to God, understand he still speaks, listen for him, wait for him to respond. Take those steps of obedience as he leads you. If you have the Holy Spirit, he's with you. He will lead you. Yeah. Right?
And the Bible is stories of people doing that.
Yes. Yes.
Because he's still doing that.
Yes, he still does that today.
And if we continue to write it down, we're extending to the Bible, right? And telling these testimonies, we're extending it. The Bible, God, I like how you put it earlier when we were talking, God didn't end with the Bible. The Bible's written and now God's done.
I was gonna say,
it's not
that's his word. He's done with that part of it, but he's not done working.
No.
He's not done speaking.
No.
He's not done doing miracles. He's not done working in our lives. He's not done yet. He didn't just, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done writing the Bible and now that's all you get from me, you know?
Every moment of every day. Yes. And we just have to look for it. Yeah. And if we take a moment to look for it, and I think that's where I get so frustrated at the separation that our society has built. We have, if we're staying distracted and if we're staying busy and if we're staying anxious about the future or the past, depression is both, right? The future and the past. And so anxiety is both as well. It's just where your body's taking the stress response, right? Then we're not in the present. And in the present is where we meet God. In the present is where we find God. In the present is where we go, what are you teaching me right now? Or what do you want to talk to me about? Or just, you're just so beautiful, right?
I do things like that too, yes.
Gosh, you're just so beautiful, God. And
well, I love it because it's gotten to the point we were talking about this beforehand too, that I mean, even before she'll like text somebody back, she'll be like, what do you want me to say? Even before she makes her next decision, she'll be like, where do you want me to go with this? It's gotten so, she trusts him so much. You trust God so much that he's literally
living through me.
Yes.
Instead of me going to God and being like, hey, I really want a house.
Yeah.
Can you give me a house, please? Like, God, I really, like, it's not like that. It's like, okay, God, do you want me to live in a van down by the river? Or do you want me to live in a mansion? Whatever you want, your will. Because your will, I know, is going to lead me into a far better spot than I could ever imagine to myself. Because my mind is filtered through a lot of trauma, through a lot of lineage.
Yeah.
We carry these cells that are literally on us right now, have been around since the beginning of time. They have memory. And we are seeing everything as a filter through them, in addition to our own personal lives. And in addition to, like, there's so many things being filtered. I'm done with it now. Like, I'm like, fully you, Yahweh. What do you want? Like, and which is crazy. And it looks insane. And my mom included, my people who love me the most. Why do you want to move? Why do you want to change this right now? I don't. It's not me,
Well, then they look at you crazy. It's God. Well, are you sure about that? They'll,
How do you know? I don't think you're listening to God, because I don't think God would tell you to do this. If you look in the Bible, I can pick out verses that tells you God is telling you the complete opposite. And it's like, well, no, you're bending the will of the Bible to your
I was
own.
gonna say you can take pieces of the Bible and make it fit what you want it to say. But yes, but if you have that relationship with God, you're talking to him, you're staying in his word.
Yeah,
he will speak to you. Yeah, if you're listening, if you're taking the time to listen.
Right. And I think that's a huge part too. We'll kind of wrap it up. I'm sorry, but having people speak into you and considering the source, right? So as people are speaking lovingly into you, but it goes directly against what your relationship with God is bringing you into, just considering the source. Okay, who this is coming from? What does their relationship with God look like? And also, do I see the fruits of the Spirit living out actively in their life?
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'm like, well, it isn't mine. And so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and keep creating the relationship I have. And if there becomes a time where I see the fruits of the Spirit disappearing in my life, and I see, some of the Spirit, well, then that's the time to reconsider. Okay, well, where else should I go? And how else can I connect with God? And who else is God sending me? But I think it's really valuable to consider the source. Do these people gossip for the sake of gossip? Do they lament for the sake of lamenting? Do they have a lot of anxiety? Do they have a lot of peace? Yeah. Do they have a lot of joy? Is there love surrounding their being? Or is it the opposite? And I think, and that's where this disparity between the word of God and the will of God and the word and the will of society have really been, the canyon's just been growing in my own mind and heart for a while, but especially this year. I'm like, wow, it's so different. Yes. It's really hard to find people like you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Honestly,
thank you.
Like, I can go, we can talk about God and say, this is where God's leading. You can just feel it. You feel his presence, right? Yes. Like, it's undeniable.
We prayed before this, and she even said, I just love it. I can feel him here, right? Yeah. Like, yes. Yep. And I feel that from just every time you talk, I'm like, oh my goodness, I just love hearing it. You're clearly listening to him so closely and you're following him I just love it. It just gets me excited. And
I do too. It gets me excited too.
Sisters in Christ. I love it.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you so much for sharing that. And you. I'm sure we'll have her back because she has more to tell, I'm sure. Someday. We'll give her a break.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And we prayed on this beforehand, and I also prayed last night and this morning and all week but just that this message and my testimony of obedience really reaches those who it needs to, and to let you know that you're not crazy, it's not far off, and maybe to take the approach of, for the first time in my life, let's just see what could happen. What if I just listened to this little voice that I know is God, but other people question? Right? let's not listen to the other people. Let's just see what happens if I listen and I obey this voice that I know is God. Because that's what I did, and that's what I now continue to do. Now it's not fun. It's not like a let's just see. Now it's I know.
Yeah.
I
There's
know
nothing
it's
that
God.
can, nothing that can overtake that knowing after you've been through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
All right. Until next time.
Thank you.